Your thoughts on, let's call it I guess it's called the hero post. Is that what it is?
So it's called the hero post. If you can remember, the hero post first came up against the Philadelphia Eagles. He tried to hit Alamazé Zaccheaus, as Caleb Williams tried to hit OZ in the back of the end zone and just missed Zaccheaus on the play. So this is Ben Johnson a couple weeks ago describing the hero post. It's one of those that rarely are ever thrown. We always talk about if you're a third or fourth string quarterback in the preseason and you want to be your hero, that's when you that's when you throw that thing because it's rarely thrown. He threw that today, Caleb Williams, the hero post to DJ Moore. We saw him flash open initially, at least from our vantage point in the press box. But Caleb Williams, to be able to find him after his second option, his first option and his second option were taken away is something else. I'm still not sure how that throw got through those defenders in the back of the end zone. Great job by DJ Moore to key on that football coming in, but that is a hero post that is rarely ever thrown in the Bears offense, and you just saw it today against the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, and just so people understand that play that he's talking about, so in Philly a couple weeks ago, it was the one where Olamide came open, like kind of on the backside of the play when he looked like he was wide open in the end zone and Caleb just couldn't make the throw. But they're like, yeah, but it'd be nice if you could hit it, but rarely does a quarterback ever even get to that read, and it's not as easy as it looks throwing it. So today you saw that play out in a positive way where it looked even harder than it did in Philly when OZ was wide open. But that's the play that Jahns is referring to, that Ben Johnson was referring to as well. So it's kind of cool to see them come around 2 weeks later and hit it.
So, Johnsy, talking about the quarterback position with Caleb Williams, a big thing we talked in the pregame was his accuracy. Talk about what you saw from him accuracy-wise today.
Oh, greatly improved. I thought this was one of his best games. There was a few drops, one from Kyle Monangai. Then you had one from Luther Burden. You had one from Cole Kmet, I believe, as well. So there's a few drops in there. There's a play out there where Olamide Zaccheaus kind of trips in the middle of the field and looks like an overthrown pass, but you have to take into account that another receiver fell down for another week in a row for the Chicago Bears. I thought this is one of his best games, Caleb Williams, in terms of his accuracy, delivering the football all over the field, a lot of yak yardage. You saw Colson Loveland get involved, Cole Kmet get involved, DJ Moore with the 2 touchdowns. You saw Luther Burden before his injury get involved. So he's spreading the football around. The completion percentage is up. So I would say, guys, just by the numbers, but overall, just watching this with the eye test, this was one of Caleb Williams' best games of the season. What was his final pass rating? 112.5. 112.5. So an outstanding game from Caleb Williams today.
Yeah, on the other side of the ball, Shedeur Sanders, born and raised in Texas. He did play in Colorado, but I don't know if he ever played in these kind of conditions. I said on the first touchdown run by DeAndre Swift before the snap, I said, well, we'll see on this play if the Browns really want to be out here today. And Swift walked into the end zone, and the Bears go on to win by 35 points or whatever it ended up being. So, just from your vantage point, how much did the Browns really want to be out there versus the Bears, who obviously are playing for a lot more?
Braggs, the sentiment in the Bears locker room after the game was that if they could jump out to an early lead, get the run game going, stack some completions from Caleb Williams, that this could be a very long day for the Cleveland Browns, that they could basically run them out of the building. Now, I know there was a point in this game where it didn't look too good for the Bears. You had the sack, you had the missed field goal, and the Browns started to gain some momentum. But that sack by Austin Booker, where we all thought he had a fumble, a strip sack, I think that helped really change the game back into the Bears' favor. They put the Browns away. They dominated. So I think the Bears got what they wanted or expected to do in this game, where they jumped out early. They got the fast start that they wanted, but then they put the pedal down, and they took it to the Browns, and they kind of ran them out of this building. To bring up Shedeur Sanders, there was a point in this game where he was 7 for 21 passing. I know later in the game he started completing some passes underneath against some soft coverage, some checkdowns, so that completion percentage went up. But the Bears were after him. He was struggling against everything that Dennis Allen was throwing against them. Of course, he had the sacks and the 3 interceptions, so a long day for the rookie quarterback against a veteran Bears defense.
Johnsy, it was good to see Jaylon Johnson get a pick. He got beat on the play, but then he was able to recover, and the ball was bobbled and ended up in his hands. What's your read on the
I guess, Bears' number one cornerback, although he's not quite really at, obviously, Jaylon Johnson, quote, level.
No, he's not at 100% yet. Now, I think we have some video from Jaylon Johnson. Did you want to play that right now from the locker room?
Sure. Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, let's hit it, Steven.
I mean, we take responsibility for everything. I know we know when we have a good game that it's on the backs of us, and if not, then it's because we didn't do enough. So I mean, for us, we got to make sure that the quarterback's on the ball a little longer, and then if he's not making plays on those quick throws. But other than that, I mean, I feel like we did a heck of a job, top to bottom, on defense. The rushers hit at home, and we were making them on the ball.
Jaylon, you made it up for a couple of plays later, but what happened on that 47-yarder to Bond?
Yeah, I mean, zero coverage. I mean, trying to just step back, throw the ball to the middle of the field. So I mean, not too much you can do. Just a beater for that coverage. Right?
Now that you've had a couple games, how are you feeling just physically, just getting back into things after missing so much time?
I think, just getting better week by week as far as how my body feels. Still a long process, just trying to keep getting in the groove, keep getting better, stronger. But other than that, it's really the same process every week.
Quick turnaround forward.
Takeaways for this defense this year. What does it mean to you to be able to contribute?
It means a lot. We're not, I feel like, really caught up on it right now because we got bigger and better things to accomplish. But those turnovers are definitely impacting the games right now.
You guys already answered this, but just the no-look interception. What did he see or not see?
Really just playing the ball through his eyes and not really panicking at all, just understanding where the ball was going to come, and then it happened to fall right into my hands. So just got held on and stayed in bounds.
So did it bounce off him, or did you rip it from him?
That all those details happened a little quick. I was in position, seeing the ball, like I said, play through his eyes, and then the ball was in my hands.
Was there a delayed reaction from the refs or everybody knowing that you had intercepted the ball? It was hard for us to tell.
I would say you tell me. I had the ball and I just ran right through the end zone. So I'm not really sure what went on, but it definitely sounded like and seemed like people didn't know what happened.
What does it say about this, Jaylon? But how excited are you for a quick turnaround with the Packers coming here on Saturday?
Really excited. It's a very big opportunity for us. Flexed it to Saturday night, so we got a lot to show and a lot to prove, and we got to go get better.
What does it say about this team that you were able to take care of business in such dominating fashion, sandwiched in between those two big games against the Packers?
Really just handling 1 week at a time. I think not looking past this team. They have a lot of good players and a lot of people that are playing for us and things over there, especially Myles Garrett and things like that. And they got a fiery young group as well. So I know they have a lot to prove, but we also did too. So just handling business right now.
What was the key to your defense holding them to one first down, maybe 57 yards, I think, in the first half?
Really just stopping the run. I think first and foremost we knew they had a good run game, run scheme, and then really just handling business in the air.
Where do you think you are in terms of your progression?
So, Johnsy, we're I think you can kind of tell just hearing from Jaylon, you could watch the film too. I feel like his speed is not back.
Agreed.
Like, you just see him get beat on that deep ball. You can get beat on the one that he ended up picking it off. I don't know if it's fully going to come back this season, but in fairness, he's kind of going through his training camp right now in a playoff race with it being 10 degrees outside. That's not the easiest thing in the world.
No, absolutely not. And I think the Bears are taking the right approach with this by not putting too much on his plate, by not playing him too much against what regardless of what opponent. I would imagine that Jaylon Johnson would push for more playing time next week against the Green Bay Packers, knowing how important that game is for the Bears' playoff chances, for the NFC North. There's just a lot at stake, but at the same time, they're going to need him later for this eventual playoff run that we think is going to happen. So you heard it from him himself. He went into more detail later on with a couple other reporters that he's still not feeling where he needs to be, but it's going to take time. It's part of this process. He's putting a lot of work in behind the scenes that you don't see at practice, that you don't see here before the game during the pregame warm-ups to get to that place where he expects himself to be, that Pro Bowl level, that All-Pro level that we know he could be. So I think what you have right now is a player, this veteran player, who is now happy to be on the board and contributing in a positive way for a Bears defense that has 30 takeaways. It's been producing takeaways every single week, and now he's on the board with one of those takeaways.
Well, speaking of working a guy back in, they tried to do that with Rome Odunze, and it feels like that was a swing and miss in terms of their approach of trying to get him back to lose him before the game, just like they did last week to Kyler Gordon. What's going on with this training staff? and these players and the disconnect of when they're actually ready to get out there and try to ramp back up?
Well, I think you just have, they're all individual scenarios. Like you have to take them differently. I know like the natural thing to do is to group them all together with the training staff, but like Kyler Gordon has had soft tissue injuries all season long. Rome Odunze is dealing with a broken bone in his foot. So they're feeling different ways. They're testing different things. So they're not really related, but yeah, something is going on pregame. Maybe they're pushing them too much, or maybe the players are pushing themselves too much because they're part of this playoff run for the first time in a long time with the Chicago Bears, especially with Kyler Gordon, who's been here for 3 years. Like, this is the best Bears season that he's been a part of, and he's barely been a part of it. So if he wants to push himself, like, that's on him. I think with the training staff, it's to bring these guys back a little bit, to understand the long-term view on things. And I think they've done a pretty good job with that. Like Jaylon Johnson is a great example, Braggs, but I have to see what happened with Odunze. I think we have to talk to him. He did come through the locker room after the game, had a big smile on his face. He did mess with DJ Moore when he was doing his scrum with the media. So he seemed in good spirits. I don't think I saw a boot. He looked to be walking pretty fine. Wasn't gingerly, wasn't limping or anything like that. So that's a positive sign. And again, I think the conditions may have been a factor just maybe overall for some of these players.
Yeah.
I was just saying the Jaylen thing. I mean, I'm sure he's thrilled. The Bears are 10-4. He's back out there and he's playing. He got a pick today and all of it. But this was not the way that Jaylen envisioned the team turning around and where he's at in the hierarchy of it. Like, Jaylen's been a front and center guy who's like you have to talk to all week long. He's just kind of been quiet since he came back because he's not, playing at the level. So hopefully, 3 more weeks of the regular season, he can be, a lot closer to 100% by the playoffs because he deserves it.
Yeah, it takes time coming back from that type of injury, and especially it's a speed position. He probably doesn't feel as comfortable in and out of the breaks, opening up in stride. So I expect him towards the end of the season to be 100%. But want to get back into the Rome situation because it's something we talked about in the pregame, and I thought just like we talked about, it's a bone injury. And you kind of thought with Cleveland, Rome being the best receiver, why not rest him another week and then reevaluate against the Packers, even if you potentially shut him down for most of the regular season in hopes of getting him 100% healthy for the postseason. I kind of just didn't understand why they brought him back. Was there any kind of thought of that by you?
Well, I think that goes to the point of how important this game was emphasized behind the scenes by Ben Johnson. You could call it a must-win, but a have-to-win, anything you want to do to describe this game. This was the one that the Bears wanted to get sandwiched between 2 all-important games against the Packers. They couldn't let this one slip by. It's too important in the overall standings of this playoff race to look past because you have the Packers coming up next. So, Corey, maybe that's part of it. Again, like I saw Rome Odunze in the locker room afterwards. Didn't seem to be limping. Didn't have one of those carts where you push through and he's got one leg up there. I didn't see any crutches. He was smiling. He was joking around with DJ Moore. So maybe this is a safer than sorry approach, considering how bad the factors are out there. Maybe the cold was just too much for the broken bone in his foot, which, I would understand that. But we'll have to see. Starting Tuesday when the injury reports start to come out for the Bears because you have the Saturday game.